Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I have a massive stack of comics here. I don't have time this week to be spending 6 minutes talking about old cartoons of Spider-Man, so I'm just going to get straight into this and hopefully ramble less than I usually do. But we're going to start this week with the new Remender. This is Napalm Lullaby. It is mildly reminiscent. I hoped to have some visual aids, and then I didn't grab them before I started filming. Mildly reminiscent of Punk Rock Jesus, but we start with this Superman-style origin story of mechs. This is amazing. Mechs coming out of I don't know, a rip in time and space. Who knows? This blue thing. There's a fight, and then there's a discussion about who's going to kill this baby. Baby flips out, and then it's discovered by these two farmers. Nice, lovely couple. They're a little bit religious-y, though, as the opening sequence indicates, as well as all of these bumper stickers. So, yeah. We then jump to 50 years later, obviously, and there's a series of characters that seem to be the main character, and then each of them die. There is this narration that seems a little Coda-ish in the fact that I believe it's unreliable, but oops, boobs. There's boobs right at the staples. Yeah, so there are these two that are on the cover, and they seem to die about 3/4 of the way through, and we're just like, what the hell is happening? And it's essentially, again, reading solicitation text sometimes gives you more information than the comic itself, but there was this baby who was raised in a very religious upbringing, has some, let's say, supernatural powers, and the world changed as a result of that. So it's, it's an Elseworldish Red Sun universe where what if Superman was born somewhere else, was raised by somebody else. It's gorgeous to behold. Art by Bengal. They worked together previously on Death or Glory, which I really should reread again. But yeah, I've already added this to my pull list. I very much want to see where this goes. Art's gorgeous, the story's great. Highly recommended. Petrol Head, issue 5. This is the end of the first arc. I couldn't tell from reading any of the solicitation texts if this was the end of the series or not. There is a thing here at the very back that says, I'll be back. We'll return. Which is good, because this doesn't really wrap up the story. It does, however, because I've been somewhat wishy-washy on the series so far. I thoroughly enjoyed issue 1. Issues 2 through 3 were a bit running in place, and this issue, it's all payoff. So everything that had come before was kind of set up, and it gets paid off here, and it's incredibly well done. It's just great. I am currently undecided if I will continue or not, just because of that sort of running in place nature of what has led us to here. I will probably keep going. But, yeah, if you are curious at all, then I will recommend grabbing the trade of this once that comes out. But there are just some incredible moments in this. Still plenty of humor as well. There's this head. Gets tossed out a car window. There's this, which is amazing. Like I said, there's just incredible moments that pay off things that were set up in previous issues. It's really well done. Next up we have Adventureman Ghost Lights issue 2. This is somehow the end of the arc. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed Adventureman. It is largely well done. The thing that makes absolutely no sense is how they're collecting these, not by arc, but by just seemingly random number of issues at a time, and it's annoying, and these people know how to make comics, and this is not it. Somehow this is getting an oversized hardcover collection. It's just 2 issues, and it's not the beginning of the arc, because that was done at some point long enough ago that I can't even remember, but it's not acceptable how this thing is being collected, and I don't think I'm gonna buy it, because I need to vote with my dollars, I guess. But as far as the story, what happens, that is well done. It's just... these guys should have an arc before... Finish an arc, then solicit it, put it out that way. This... again, how they're producing this is unacceptable. They should know better. They've been in the game long enough. But if you can put up with the production schedule, it is a good story with gorgeous art. Action Comics 1063, this is the end of the Jason Aaron, Bizarro, Superman story. After this, it goes into House of Brainiac, or Brainiac Queen, or something. I don't know. But Superman has teamed up with Joker, because the whole world has gone Bizarro, and Joker is now the sanest man in the world, because he's Bizarro Joker. And I think he looks fantastic. There's another Joker in another issue in the stack, and I think both Jokers look fantastic. Neither one is quite the standard look, but this, again, it's a Superman Bizarro, Superman Bizarro Joker team up, and it's really well done. I think Joker is the standout character of this issue. Oh, I didn't notice his head was in a block of ice there. Superman does defeat Bizarro because he's friggin' Superman, so obviously. But, yeah, the Joker stuff is, I think, the highlight of the issue, because it's really kind of Joker that defeats Bizarro. But it's great. It's really well done. I like the design of that Joker. Good stuff. I don't know what Aaron is doing next. I think I can't remember. I don't know. I'll pay attention. Oh, obviously, Ninja Turtles. But I think he's doing 2 or 3 other things as well. So, this is good. It's just 3 issues. Each issue is oversized, and it's entertaining, and I recommend it if you want just a quick 3-issue story. It's great. Sandman, issue 6. This is the end of the miniseries, and there is no last page. We will return indication. I still hope that it's will continue in some fashion with this creative team. We had the JSA hinted at back in issue 1, and there's one obvious thing that happens at the end of this, but this is primarily the conclusion to the arc that had been set up when Wesley's stabbed. Oh, not great. This is the end of his notebook being stolen and the other versions of his gas being used maliciously, and I'm possibly spoiling all of this by showing off who he's fighting, but I don't care. The art's great, the story's great, and I thoroughly enjoyed this, like I said, multiple times. I hope this continues in some fashion, but if it doesn't, it is still great. Our Bones Dust issue 4. This is also the end of a miniseries, and also incredibly well done. Honestly, this entire stack is nearly all bangers. It's one of the largest and best weeks of comics that I've read in quite some time. But Our Bones Dust ends the series, and this makes me want to get the trade. This is another series that I was somewhat wishy-washy on. I was intrigued after the first issue, And issues 2 and 3, I'm like, I still don't know. And then this issue, it's just fantastic. It's a great issue. It wraps up everything that had been leading towards, and it's just really well done. It's also horrifying. Got this thing creeping around, but just fantastic. More stuff getting cut off people's bodies. It's just really good. And then this moment shows up and like, holy cow. It's really good. Again, there will be a trade. Get the trade. I think it's coming out in June. The solicitations for June are starting to go up right now. But grab this if you're curious. It's fantastic. Dark Ride, issue 11. I'm a tiny bit surprised that there isn't a note on the last page that says to be concluded, but this series is ending next issue with 12, and there's, sure, I think it is time, because things have been revealed. Things have certainly escalated to a point where we have this guy, who is on one of his father's rides, and he is trying to rescue his daughter. And the ride is somewhat supernatural in nature. He takes basically a trip to hell and is tortured by barbed wire, so both physically and emotionally. But it's great. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I will show you this. This is sort of where things lead. So you got all these people at the bottom, and then the size of this thing, like, that's happening. So it's a devil-themed theme park. Yeah. And there's a demonic nature to things that are underlying everything happening within the park, and there are some souls that have been sold, and everything is coming to a head. Like I said, it's going to conclude next issue. I'm very curious to see where it goes. The artist is drawing the Destro book that is starting May, June? I think that's June too. Yeah, I've been a fan of this team since Birthright. I'm looking forward to what they do next. But again, if you're curious, there will be a trade coming soon. 12-issue series. It's not super long, but if you're curious, grab that. I Heart Skull Crusher issue 1. I think this is a 5-issue series. I was uncertain about this, but I was curious based on the art. I mean, art's great. And the solicitation text, I don't think, and this is a major annoyance for me, but I don't think Boom puts out preview pages for their stuff. I was waiting, I looked a few times, I was waiting to make a decision on this. I haven't been making decisions about stuff to order as quickly as I used to, but there's a guy, an employee at my comic shop, Steve, and we have some of the same tastes in common. We tend to overlap when it comes to getting these weird indie books, and this was one of his picks this week, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, sure, yes. The story behind this is there's a violent sport, Screaming Paintball, I believe the name of it is. And she's a great player, but she's in a very remote town, and she wants to join this team led by a woman named Skull Crusher, and she doesn't have the means to do that until somebody comes to town. That old staple. So she now has a mission, and it's what happens next. It is a tiny bit reminiscent of Bombos versus Everything. It's, again, I wish I had a visual reference here, but it's way across the room, and I don't want to get up. So I did a video on that a long time ago, but similar sort of setup, very different execution, and it's fantastic, and Boom should really put out preview pages, because I think they'd sell more comics if they did. But I just want to say, get to know your local comic shop employees, and if they know you and you know them, and you figure out each other's tastes, and then you can have conversations and discussions and make recommendations. Just go to your comic shop. Talk to some people. That's all I'm saying. It's a great book. It's already on my pull list. Helen of Wyndhorn. This is the new Tom King, Bilquis Evely. They previously worked together on Supergirl, and much like Supergirl, this is gorgeous art covered up by a hell of a lot of words. But it's really well done in the fact that she makes room for all of the words, so nothing is cramped, nothing is covered up. At the root, this is the story of two women, I'll say. I mean, again, I've been flipping through this for a couple of pages now, but you can see just the incredible art. These two women. So she's the granddaughter of a character that we haven't met yet, and she has been hired as the governess to sort of get her under control because her father has died, and she's, I think, 16 at this point, and she's spending the night in jail because she was drunk the night before. But she drinks and she smokes, and she's a pretty wild character. And there's this giant house, the one that I just flipped past. And when they arrive, the grandfather is out of town, so they spend a few weeks there, and then there she is drinking. They spend a few weeks there, and then this thing shows up. And like, yikes. So I don't remember how many issues this is intended to be. I don't think Dark Horse tends to say, but I might have a note about that. It's very well done. The writing is not over the top. It's additive to the story. The art, as I've said, as I've commented, is gorgeous. Just look at the amount of work that goes into a wine cellar. It's incredible. Absolute talents, and this also is already on my pull list. I loved it. The Weatherman issue 3, I want to skip straight to the end on this because there's a shop, and last night I bought the t-shirt, so I will have a t-shirt coming soon. But this is also just incredibly well done. The story's moving along. There's a sort of redemptive arc a little bit in this issue, at least self-redemption. You'd have to read it to understand what I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain it, but it's fantastic. It's any other week this would be pick of the week, but it's just an incredibly strong week. I have no idea what pick of the week is going to be this week. There's a lot happening here. There's a mech fight at one point. It's just incredible. But the story of Ethan/Nathan and Agent Cross here continues, and it's just incredibly well done. I'm saying that a lot every issue in the stack, and as I said too, I almost showed something and I don't want to show it because, man, it's horrible. It's too much. But yes, much like everything else this week, this book is amazing. Highly recommended. I hope people are reading this. Holy cow. It's really well done. Transformers issue 6, I would like to just show you every page of this and say things like, oh my god, look at this, and oh, boom, boot to the face. I'm not going to flip through every page of this. I would. But every page is gorgeous, action-packed, full of emotion. A human does walk into the Matrix, and I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? I will show you this, however. So, I mentioned in the previous issue, green and purple. And Devastator did show up at the end of last issue. This is a fight between the Autobots. There's a Starscream side fight, which is amazing. There's a human that uses a Cybertronian weapon, and like there's so many moments in this. I could literally go through this page by page, find something, basically every panel, just be like, oh my god, look at this. Just read it. Read it for yourself. This is I'm going to say the best Transformers comics have been possibly ever. There were some really good IDW things, but holy cow. Daniel Warren Johnson is an incredible artist and writer, and I want you to experience this for yourself. It's Autobots versus Devastator with wrestling moves, and it's just indescribable. It's so good. Batman Dylan Dog, I've been looking forward to this for a couple of years because this was put out in Italy, I don't know, well, as I said, a few years ago. But I have not read any, I've not experienced, honestly, any Dylan Dog. There was the Brandon Routh movie that I also didn't watch, but I've never read him. I am aware that he exists, that there's a bunch of comics, and so I was looking forward to this, getting my first taste of Dylan Dog, and this does not disappoint. There's something that I think I'm going to bring up at the end of this as far as returning to a comment that I had last week, but there's a 20-page prologue. I don't know how many pages this is actually, but it's 20 pages before we get to end of prologue. There's a ton of material here, and all of it's great. So Dylan, the sidekick Groucho, he's very funny. There's plenty of action. There's some great Batman stuff in here as well. And I think I'm going to have to find some Dylan Dog books to buy, because holy cow, this is well done. It is, I believe, a 3-issue series, and once again, I've already signed up for this as well. So, again, highly recommend. Fishflies, issue 5. This is finally the end of the stack. Fishflies, issue 5. There was a contender for weirdest book. Honestly, it's between this and Our Bones Dust. Yeah. And I thought Our Bones Dust was going to take it for weirdest book of the week. And then Fishflies comes out swinging. I can't remember because of the, I think, bi-monthly nature of this. Every other month. Release schedule, I can't remember how the previous issue ended, but we have the girl with this old couple, and Bug, obviously. And so that's how this starts, and then they immediately turn, kick Bug into the cellar, and lock him up. And I'm just like, what the hell's happening right now? I feel like I've stepped into something and I missed an issue or something. Anyway, that gets explained. But the investigation into the missing girl, into the shot kid, also continues. That's what... such well done, old people. Yeah, this is also incredibly well done. It gets very weird, though, especially at the end. But the old couple, very strange. And what's happening with them, how it relates to previous investigations, all of that is explained here. And then we get to the end, and it's just weird. I don't know, man. I have no idea where this is going, but I am along for the ride. So that is everything that I got this week, and I just want to point out right here, $4.99. So that is, as I was just saying, everything that I got this week. Also, $4.99. Also, somewhat surprisingly, $4.99. And $4.99. So last week I was making a comment about dollars per minute. I guess you could say minutes per dollar. But we have a very oversized issue. We have an incredibly dense read. We have a short read. And we have another oversized one that I'll say is medium length as far as read time. I'm not mad about any of these prices. I'm just making a comment about pricing and the length of time that it takes to read a book. That's all I'm saying. So when Marvel puts out their summer event and it's going to cost, I don't know, $6, $7 maybe, just question question the value, question if you're getting what you want out of it, and maybe find something that makes you happier. That's all I'm saying. All of these are great. I'm going to say everything in this stack is pick of the week. I don't think that's ever happened before, but as I said, all of it is fantastic. I enjoyed all of it. There's nothing this week that was disappointing whatsoever, and I've said this before too, but just an incredible week of comics, both in volume and in quality. So this is everything that I got this week. I already made my pitch to you about local comic shops. I got all of these from my local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.